let's get into this Marcus Stroman situation here for 10 minutes. So Stroh took his physical on Tuesday. Today is Thursday. He's been a no-show for workouts for the last 2 days. The club's not certain yet when he's going to be on the field. Technically, according to the CBA, the agreement between MLB owners and players, you're not required to be on the field until February 22nd. The club was informed by Stroman's agent before his physical, I guess, about the missing time. Aaron Boone has talked about this, and it was pretty interesting the way that he quoted it because he used the word awkward. Are we going to show that, or we're just going to talk about it? Let me know. But otherwise, no, we're not going to show it. So I can read the quote. I'm pretty sure I can find it as we're talking because it's pretty important because I think it helps to tell the story. So Boone said he quote, had an idea that Stroman wouldn't show up for workouts these last 2 days and that he understands, quote, how it looks. He called it, quote, a little bit of an awkward situation. But Boone has talked to Stroman and expects him in camp in the next few days. So this is perfect topic for a player show. I'll give one more bit of context and then let's swing it around here because I don't know how this all works, but I do know that most players report when they're supposed to report, even though there's technicalities in when you can show up. Stroman was in trade rumors this offseason. They couldn't figure it out, and he didn't pitch, I think, at all in the playoffs, which for a competitor like him definitely bothered him. I don't even have to ask him to know that. So Todd Father, have you ever seen anything like this aside from a player missing time due to personal reasons or a visa issue? I'm taking that out because we would have heard about that.
Yeah, no, I have. I remember Norris Hopper, blast in the past, man. He leadoff guy, pretty much get you a single any time of the week, any day of the week you wanted. He's one of those guys that would show up the day he was supposed to show up. By rule, it's one of those things. You don't have to come to camp. I know everybody says it doesn't look good. I get it. These are the rules of engagement. These are the rules of baseball. From what I'm hearing, Boone and Stroman are on good terms. There's nothing really weird about it. I think, what he said, it kind of made it look like, Stroman is a guy that he's not coming. What's going on? There's rumors of this. There's really no rumor to it. He'll be there over the weekend. And when Monday strolls around, it's game time for him. So, it's a veteran guy. He's made a lot of money over his career, and, he understands the gruel and grind of the year, and I think he's going to be just fine once he comes back over the weekend.
I've always said the vets don't need to show up until a little bit later in spring training. Not like this, though. Look, Stroh knows what he needs to do. Is he doing it for a reason? Only he knows. We can speculate, but I never even knew that this was a possibility. Like, if AJ knew this was a possibility, he'd have shown up for games too, just for the games on the 22nd. Like, that's the first day. But I was there 10 days ahead of time. I was, as a kid say, I was too much of a try-hard. If you're able to show up late, but, if he's upset, if he is upset, and that's why he's not showing up, you know what? There's a lot worse ways you could go about it. He's just not there. Hopefully it's not a distraction. I hate when people are like, "Oh, is this a distraction for the team?" No, he's a starting pitcher. It's not like they're playing without a center fielder.
By rule, they don't have to show up until the 22nd, too, if I'm not mistaken.
The CBS.
Yeah, but who does that? Like the fact that we even brought the rule up.
A handful.
Right, you brought up Norris Hopper, right? He was one.
Norris Hopper wasn't good enough to do that, by the way. Manny Ramirez.
Hey, Norris would miss those days, come in, game one, go 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Like, I can't do that. I had to show up early because I needed as many swings as possible because I'm hitting inside in this cold weather, as Kratzy knows too. I want to see how far my ball went, if I can still hit it far. That's just my psyche going crazy. But yeah, guys did it. I don't think it has any bearing or anything to do with, opting out or looking for a trade or anything like that. In my opinion, from what I'm hearing, I think he's just understanding he's a veteran guy, and he could do what he wants until that time comes. He really doesn't have to show up until the 22nd, and that's everybody's right. I don't think it's going to make I don't think it should make big noise because rules are the rules. Oh, man, why are you showing up to saying no? Actually, my job says I don't have to show up until the 22nd, and that's that. Okay, when you guys should move on, whether it looks good or not.
Okay, so my question is, as a teammate, if you have a guy that does this, how do you feel about it?
Feels like he's alienated, in my opinion.
I don't know, because I never had anybody do this. I mean, the only guy I ever remember hearing about doing this was Manny Ramirez, and he was kind of in a contract thing. And he's like, "Oh, I'll show up March 1st or whatever it was, whatever the date was back then, right?" But I mean, everyone else, you got 65 other guys there grinding, and you're like, "I'm not sure." Again, I don't know the situation, what's happening with Marcus Stroman. I'm just saying, as someone looking from the outside, what does his teammates think? That's what I want to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I know exactly where you're coming from, AJ, but that's the last thing any team needs. It's like, oh man, hey, what about Strum? What, you know what I mean? That's the media trying to stir some crap up. But yeah, I see it on both sides. I do. What I want my compadre, my teammate there, grinding with us, even before day one, of course. But at the same time, you got to respect everybody's decision.
Okay, so let me give you the fan perspective. It's causing unnecessary attention. And there are multiple ways to put this to bed, right? Because it's New York. It's the Yankees. It really would be a story anywhere, but it's really a story in New York. There is nothing going on right now, okay? The Giants suck. The Jets suck. I don't know what's going on really in the NBA right now. I don't have time for NBA and NHL. But there are a lot of fans that go right from football to baseball. Spring training just started. There's nothing happening. It's just people showing up. Luckily for Yanks fans, there's no injuries. So what is everybody talking about today? Marcus Stroman's not at camp. And they didn't say it's because of a personal issue. That's the big thing. I actually would have just said, I'm wondering, like, on the PR side, why not just lie and be like, hey, he's not here for a personal issue? No? Because it could be any personal issue. Don't lie about that.
But don't throw lies, because as much as it's going to get a lot of publicity, then you're always backtracking. At some point you're going to forget that you lied. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Okay.
I think what Booney did, I thought Booney handled it awesome. If Stroman wants to say something, it's Stroman's place to say something.
But why are the reps saying it's not trying to protest him pissed off about trade rumors and not pitching in the playoffs and all that stuff and his standing with the team? So my thing, the famous Kratz line, say it with your chest. You're not there. You don't have to be there yet. Then tell your reps to say, hey, or he should say, hey, I didn't love the way that things have shaken out over the last several months, so I'm taking a stand. The middle ground, I think, is soft.
I don't think he has to say anything because it's in the rule. It's in the CBA. So he comes. Just say he comes on the 22nd, for example. Hey man, where the heck you been? Working out? What do you mean? Oh, you weren't here with everybody else. But the rules, I don't have to show up till the 22nd, man. I'm ready for the grind. It's a long season. This is a long season. I know how it's done. I'm a veteran. So I decided this year I'm going to show up on time knowing how long of a season it's going to be. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. And that's how it should be squashed like that, in my opinion.
That's fine. And then the follow-up from New York Reporter is going to be, so do you think that this is taking a stand against teams getting players into camp earlier than they technically need to be by the rules? Are you standing up for that? Should we have more players in a situation like this? Because it's never happening in today's game. You're the only one on the Yankees that showed up late. What did your teammates say to you? Do you think that it gets perceived that way? This is what happened. Todd, you played in New York.
I know, but he didn't show up late. That's the thing.
Later than everyone else.
Okay, yeah, I get it. And I would say, if that's what he wants to say, I'd say no. I just know the rules, and I'm happy to be here. Let's go Yankees and try and move on from there. You guys are making unnecessary noise about this whole situation. I don't want to start the season like this. I'm ready to be a Yankee. Now leave me alone.
Hold up, though. I'm a good New York reporter. I'm in the clubhouse because they're coming in hot with more, right? Sure. Marcus, how did you feel about being popped up in trade rumors throughout the offseason and not pitching in the playoffs? How much did that affect you?
Listen, I'm a gamer. I always wanted to be in the playoffs. I understand the situation of what they wanted to do. Was I upset? Yeah. trade rumors it's been a part of my whole career. And right now I'm a Yankee, and I want to be a Yankee, and I can't wait for spring training to start. Have a good day.
Then
Okay.
the next question. Then they go to Eric Kratz and they say, Kratz, what do you think about Stroman not being here? AJ, what do you think about not being here? Why don't you do this? Like, I know why I was always on time, because I was a catcher and I needed to be there to catch my pitchers, right? That's why Kratz was there early, because he wanted to get a jump on being there to catch. So why I understand you don't have to be there technically, but then why on earth has almost every other player been there on time? Because they want to be part of the team and they want to go to war with their boys, right? Like, I'm here.
Sure.
We're going to grind through this. You heard Jack Flaherty, right? He threw a bullpen. He was watching everybody throw a bullpen. Like, that's part of becoming part of a team. So I get it that he doesn't have to be there. But again, It's New York. They're going to go to you, Todd. If you're on this team and say, Todd, what do you think about Stroman not being here? Your answer is going to be, well, he can do what he wants. Well, why the hell can't everyone else do what they want? Right? That's where this becomes a story, because if he just shows up, and he lives in, I mean, I don't know if he still does, but he used to live
He's
in
in that area.
He used to he always posts the videos of him throwing the bullpens on a dock, right? That dock ain't in New York. I'm sorry, where he's from, right? It ain't up there in New York. It's in Florida somewhere, right?
It's on the Hudson, actually.
Yeah, exactly, right? Not in the weather today, right? But you know what I'm saying? That's why it becomes a story, is because, how many ever people the Yankees have in camp, I'm seeing videos of Rodon throwing against Austin Wells live at Steinbrenner Field and throwing against Ben Rice, but I haven't, Stroman not showing up. That's why it's a story. If there was more than one person that did this every year, then people would be like, yeah, it's no big deal. It happens. But because this is the one guy, and Stroman also, and I hate to say this sucks. People in New York, though, try to make bigger things out of nothing, right? Stroman has had whatever you want to call it, right? That's it. That's all I'm saying. They're going to try and make it into something it's not, even if it's not. So just come out and say something. Say, hey, man, sorry. I don't know. My dog was sick. I don't know, whatever it is. And I'll be there on Monday. Fine. Boom. Dead.
That's my point. Yeah. Yep. So it's now become the story in Yanks camp until he's there, and then for a couple days after he's there. There's no way to avoid that. That's my point. And maybe that doesn't matter, and it's a little spicy. It's a little fun. But, I mean, you guys are the ones in the clubhouse every single day before and after your workouts. There are a billion people in the clubhouse, right? And every single question is that, right? Because, Todd, you've dealt with this in New York in the past, right? I'm picking on you because you played for the Yanks and the Mets. But, New York media sometimes is fun, and there's pros because New York players will get more attention. There's cons. There are reporters that will just keep going and asking and asking. So now every day you're showing up to camp for the first week of camp. Majority of the questions in the clubhouse are going to be about a teammate who's not there. And there's not really enough reasoning for why he's not there. And it's going to be on the paper headlines. If people even read papers like that anymore, it's going to be on the website headlines. So would it bother you at all as a teammate that you have to go in and answer questions about this dude who's making a statement but not fully saying it, so everyone else has to answer for him right now?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't bother me. Would it bother others? Yeah, probably. But excuse me, I don't know. Yeah, it's unheard of, but he has every right to do what he wants. So yeah, it would probably bother a bunch of people. But for me, you take it and answer it. If somebody wanted to answer a question and say, hey, he's here now and he's ready to go, we can move on, hopefully. So
I know you guys didn't spend a lot of time in the minor leagues, but dudes will get optioned down. And the rule is when you get optioned, it's 72 hours from the time you get optioned. When you get optioned down, especially if you're a prospect, they sit you down in the office and they're, give you the whole spiel. And then they say, hey, you know what, though? We want you to get those ABs. We want you to get this going again. You'll be in the lineup tomorrow right away down in Scranton for the Yankees, down in Lehigh for the Phillies. And there were some dudes who were pissed about getting sent down.
Yep.
They got sent down at like 3:30. 72 hours later at 3:29, they would show up in the clubhouse. Some organizations would take it very seriously. Others would be like, hey, cool. It was your right. Go for it.
Yep.
Right. Okay. We'll see. To be continued. We'll see how it goes in camp. I mean, the Yankees want to trade him. The problem is he's got 2 years left on a contract, and it's just tough to get teams to take on money. It is. I think he's good rotation member. He should be a starter in a rotation, and that could be with the Yankees.
He can help a lot of teams. He can help a lot of teams.
Is he better than Pivetta?
No.
At $4 million, nobody's better than Pivetta.
Right. But I'm just getting the money back for you so I can make sure I'm accurate on this one. There's still good coin left. 2 years. 37. There was a vesting option. So, yeah, there's 2 years. I'm trying to get what the number. Why can't I get the number? But there's 2 years left. Oh, he's making 18 and a half. And then he's making 18 in 26. So 2 years, $36.5 million left. It's tough. You're going to have to, this is where the trades get difficult. You're going to have to eat money. We didn't even get to this part, and we should. Maybe we can just do it right here because we're waiting on Logan O'Hoppe. Nolan Arenado, tough to trade. Why? Because you have to start telling another ownership group that they need to eat money on a player. And that's where the owner ego cheapness stuff gets involved. I'm not eating money on that contract. That's what happens on those phone calls, right? The front office says, hey, if we eat half of this, we can do this right now. And I like this prospect. No freaking way. I'm not giving Joe Blow owner over there some money back. That's a real thing, AJ. We all know that, right?
Oh, 100% it's a real thing. Of course it's a real thing. That's why, what was it, the Mets got a better prospect when they ate more money of Verlander or Scherzer when they sent him to Texas. They got Acuna's brother. Like, that was what the argument was about. Like, we're trading him to Texas, but what kind of prospect can we get? Because it all depends on how much money you eat.
Yeah, the Mets ate a lot of money in the Verlander and Scherzer trades. They ended up getting Acuna, who's going to be, I think, a nice part of the big league club. Mm-hmm. They got multiple players in that Astros deal that I think could be helpful as well. It was Clifford and Gilbert, I think, were the two outfielders that were the ones that are standing out so far in that trade. Another quote from Aaron Boone, because I'm telling you, this is New York media. They're just not going to stop asking about this. On the absence, quote, of course I want him here. I'm trying to keep nudging him to get here. But again, you also have to respect the fact that this is something that players are allowed to do. There is a mandatory date of February 22nd, and he's choosing that right now. Okay, end quote. I'll also add this because I forgot about this, and some fans pointed this out in the chat. He did unfollow the Yankees in the offseason. Again, silly, petty, whatever. But I think it was Booney who spoke and said, oh, he just does his like normal scrub through his Instagram and like, you know, he's following too many things, so he unfollows stuff. So I'm like, so he unfollowed the Yanks. This is what I'm talking about. You put a player, AJ, in you put a manager and others in an uncomfortable org. He unfollowed the Yanks. Just say it with your chest. I unfollowed the Yanks. I'm pissed off. I don't want to be in trade rumors, or maybe I do, and I want them to get this done.
Say something. Please, just
dance around it.
Just say something. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard him speak yet, and now Aaron Boone's caught in the middle of it. I mean, this is what we were talking about, especially in New York. It's just going to keep going, keep going, keep going.
I actually think Booney's being pretty straightforward here, Kratz. He's not covering much for him. He's like, I'm telling him to come here, and he's not coming yet.
Totally. He's not giving him an excuse. He's just telling his side of it and what he knows. He said it was awkward, or it is awkward. It is. It's awkward. Good for Booney. I think Booney's handled this well. And who knows? How do you know when somebody unfollows? Like, can you tell when somebody unfollows you?
Me personally, no, but there are people who are talented online.
No, he took it out of his bio, I think. I thought he took it out of his bio is what they said. Like, we're, you know, like.
Like he's, you know.
Like, you pitcher for the New York Yankees. I think that's what he did. I don't think he unfollowed him. I think he took it out of his bio.
Either way, there's like an unfollow app or something that people use. It's a perfect high school tool to see if, you know, your favorite friend suddenly unfollowed you and they're mad about something.
Because you didn't pass on the rock in the big game last night.
That's right. Unfollow.
Take my girl. Unfollow.
Got him.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.